The New York Times, what we know and don't about Hunter Biden and a laptop. HuffPost, more than 50 former intel officials say Hunter Biden smells like Russia. Daily Beast, the same. CBS News, the same. NPR, the same. And The Hill, the same. 50 former intelligence officials, and I believe it was 51, warned New York Post story sounds like Russian disinformation. Well, now we've got CBS confirming that the story is true. Here's Jesse Waters, pretty much giving it to him in the effort to let us know anyways what's going on. Again, Fox has been doing some interesting stuff lately. I'm going to give them some points for now, though they're still a deep state company. I'm not going to let go of that. But anywho, check it out.
Guy is shorthand for 10% held by Hunter for his father.
Wait, CBS, you're telling me Hunter's laptop's real now? And Joe Biden's the big guy? I thought this was just one big conspiracy theory. Well, Primetime reached out to Leslie Stahl at CBS and asked her if she'd be apologizing to the former president for insisting the laptop couldn't be verified. The one this weekend where Hunter's daughter was able to tie the knot on the South Lawn. Did Hunter even pay for the wedding? Because earlier this year, his sugar brother had to pay back $2 million in back taxes for him. And buried in the reporting of the wedding, Hunter's daughter, Naomi, the one who just got married, has been living on the third floor of the White House since the summer. Who else from the Biden family is living at the White House that we don't know about? Is Corn Pop crashing in the Lincoln bedroom? I guess since Hunter is dead broke, President Biden probably had to pony up the cash for his granddaughter's wedding. That's okay. It's just as long as the big guy gets 10% of the wedding gifts. But back to business. When is the White House finally going to tell the truth about this?
Can you address whether the president was involved in...
Now, we've actually got that as the next piece, and this is just amazing how this plays out. This reporter, is asking Jean-Pierre very simple, straightforward question. Her bouncing around on the answer is absurd. It is a huge, in my opinion, a huge fail on her part, doing the one thing she's supposed to do, which is to talk through a lot of these crazy things, and she failed on this. She gets owned. Check it out.
Can you address whether the president was involved in any of his son, Hunter, or his brother's foreign business dealings?
So look, there's a little bit of interesting, kind of on-brand thinking here because, congressional Republicans ran saying that they were going to fight inflation. They said they were going to make that a priority. They were very clear about that these past several months. And instead, what they're doing is they're focusing, they're making their top priority. They get the majority, and their top priority is actually not focusing on the American families, but focusing on the president's family.
Wait, you mean like you guys have done with Trump for 6 years, even 2 years since he's been out of office? You mean like that? I love the hypocrisy. I think it's one of the funniest parts about what we're going through right now. It's absurd, too, for that matter. Now, just something to keep in mind about how the laundering of money or how paybacks or payments kind of go, how money gets moved around. Here's a great example. A Mark Rothko painting titled Yellow and Blue sold at New York auction for $46.5 million. This stupid painting. Seriously. Sorry, that doesn't require, well, no, the skills and the fact that they've got this yellow border at the bottom. Like, really? That's stupid. This is called money laundering. This is paybacks. This is giving someone money for something that they apparently did already. Now, Kari Lake is speaking to all of us right now and letting us know she is far from done with this fight. Check it out.
Hi, this is Kari Lake, and I have a message to the people of Arizona and all Americans.
So, yeah, he was probably kind of sort of being a little bit of a jerk, and that's why he got kicked off. Now, Musk has told us specifically why he's not coming back. And it really comes down to this last post here. And this is where Elon Musk says, "My firstborn child died in my arms. I felt his last heartbeat. I have no mercy for anyone who would use the deaths of children for gain, politics, or fame." I had a hard time arguing it. I mean, again, private company, his choice, right? Everyone hates that right now, but I get it. I can totally get where he's coming from. Now, Apple is threatening to kick Twitter off its App Store unless censorship is ramped up in the near future. So Twitter's got a short period of time to get their act together, or else Apple and probably Google are going to kick it off their platforms. Now, there is a Samsung App Store that's available for some, and you can always go into Twitter via your web browser. It may not quite be the same experience, but if they take away your app, you can still have your Twitter. Some things may not work quite the same. I don't know. I don't use Twitter, so I don't know how the Twitter alpha uses it a lot. The Twitter rooms or whatever that is, right? You got your... Anyway, most of that stuff should probably work on your regular web browser. But yeah, this is the next stage of this, it seems. Now, Musk's wealth has dropped by $100 billion this year. Think about that. Just think about being so rich that you literally could lose $100 billion in a year and still be considered the richest man on the planet. He's still got a net worth of $169.8 billion. Wow. It's a crap ton of money. Needless to say, yes, his Tesla stocks have taken a hit, so on paper, he is worth less money. No big deal. The NAACP is calling for companies to immediately pause all advertising on Twitter over Trump being reinstated. Again, it cracks me up. All these people that are like, we've got to save democracy. And I think the NAACP has probably been guilty of saying the same thing before. This is about saving democracy. Is it? Is it really? It's 100% not. And I love how all these companies are outing themselves. The people voted. Even with the bots, 51.8% of real people voted and won and said, hey, we want Trump back. That's called democracy, folks. As he says, the people have spoken. Trump will be reinstated. What, Vox Populi, Vox Dei, right? Dei, however you say that. Agnus Dei is one of those songs they sing in high school. So again, it's the voice of the people is the voice of God, essentially, is what they're saying there. So yeah, interesting what's going on. Now, what's been brought up is this Balenciaga, I think is how you say that. It's officially left Twitter following Elon Musk's messy takeover, as they say. But as more and more advertisers have expressed concern over Musk's moves, Balenciaga has become the first major fashion house to completely remove its account, as first reported by Business of Fashion. The company hasn't provided a reason behind its departure, but it comes as Twitter has introduced and subsequently removed paid account verification. CNN thinks they've hit the jackpot with Pence Town Hall, then comes to find out, no. Oh, shucks. It wasn't that popular. Now, it was Jake Tapper's probably best numbers that he's pulled in a while. One of the main things I kind of want to pull with this or point out with this article is there's a lot of people that I think have the idea that a whole bunch of people are watching mainstream media. Like, there's millions and millions of people watching mainstream media. That's not true. Okay, so here's the numbers. So for this particular, which was one of the best rated Jake Tapper shows ever, was horrible in the big picture, but primetime event with former vice president drew 1.186 million viewers. Just over 1 million people watched this show. That's it. Now, Tapper's competitors were able to attract more attention even without the assistance of the former vice president. Fox News, Hannity, took in about 3 million people. Again, there's not millions and millions of people watching these shows. I believe Jesse Waters has larger numbers. I don't know what his are. I don't know if he's hit 5 million yet, which is significant. But again, it's 3 million people watching Hannity. With MSNBC, Alex Wagner tonight, he's drawing an audience of about 1.5 million. So again, these numbers aren't huge. So let's keep that in mind. I mean, again, these guys are nuts, and they're trying to spread their propaganda. We don't have to believe them. China names reasons for deteriorating relations with the U.S. Pretty much boils down to Taiwan. In a nutshell, they say a bunch of fancy words and whatnot. The resolution of Taiwan is a matter for the Chinese people. No external force has the right to interfere. Okay, well, there you go. And it really pissed them off when Nancy Pelosi went there. Again, don't fully understand what's going on here. If we're trying to piss them off because we're trying to get the war started, or if this is meant to sort of separate the Chinese, because that's kind of where the deep state's plan of rulership was supposed to happen, and it doesn't seem like that's working out quite like that. Again, the war thing seems to make more sense to me, but again, we're just taking it a day at a time and just trying to be open and aware of what's going on, right? So we can adapt as necessary, as need be. AP fired the reporter behind the false reports claiming that Russian missile struck Poland. Yep, this dude got fired. And, I mean, they had to, because this ruined their reputation in a huge way. This guy talking to anonymous sources telling us that a Russian missile hit Poland and swore by it. Well, he almost started World War III. So, yeah, AP got a big old bunch of egg on their face. And this guy is, well, he's obviously in with the deep state. So I don't know how this plays out, but he got conned by somebody. This was meant to start the war. It didn't work. There was an editor, too, that supposedly signed off on this story. He didn't get fired, but the reporter did. So, yeah, that's interesting the way things are continuing to play out. Now, a little bit of FTX stuff. Sequoia is an investment firm or capital fundraising firm or whatever, but they're reaching out to all their people. They were actually invested in FTX by a tune of $150 million, and they are basically letting their people know, hey, look, sorry, we lost $150 million in the overall fund, the Global Growth Fund 3. Fortunately, there's $7.5 billion in that fund, so losing $150 million is not that bad. It's the reason why I bring up DRSlikesGold.com earlier, folks. This kind of stuff. Again, you lost $150 million like that. No chance to do anything about it because these people are idiots and they were involved in a fund or had this FTX in a fund that shouldn't have. Again, they're not looking out for your interests, people. And this is another example of how they aren't. Right? And they'll hide it within other funds. $7.5 billion, you lose $150 million. I mean, that's a percentage. That's a chunk of money, but it can be absorbed. But the people that were in this growth fund, well, you took a hit. I think probably what are they saying, about 3%? You took a hit. You lost money. Your wealth went down. Now, 10 crazy things detailed in the FTX bankruptcy filing. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but we'll just kind of quickly read through them. Most of FTX's digital assets have not been secured. They're just not secured. They're not secured to like gold or something like that, right? Like they're just assets that they bought. They don't have any cash, fresh cold wallet stored or anything. They don't. No, it's insane how much money this is. When this is all said and done, this is going to be such a scandal like no other. And who knows if there's other ones out there that are like this. I'm kind of under the impression there are. And I think, again, I do think the deep state lost one of their money laundering things. I think this is the good guys shutting down their abilities to fund stuff. Big part of it, the poppy fields in Afghanistan. We lost control of that. The CIA lost control of that. They don't have control of that money anymore. We have dried up their resources and all over the place. Nobody knows who the biggest customer creditors are in FTX. Their books are so terrible they don't even know. They don't know who all was on their books. Alameda Research loaned $4.1 billion out to entities, including Bankman-Fried and his closest partners. All that money's gone. FTX corporate funds were used to buy personal homes. That money's gone. They still got the homes, though. Personalize emojis to approve disbursements. They'd ask if it was okay to do this disbursement, and they'd send back a smiley face as a yeah, that's what you need to do. I guess they had unique emojis, but whatever. Alameda Research was one of the world's biggest hedge funds, $13.46 billion in its total assets. It's just so crazy how much money is involved in this. Audit opinions from the metaverse. Ray had never heard of Prager Metis, the company Bankman-Fried hired to provide audit views for his company's international FTX trading platform. Ray claimed that he visited the company's website to find out more information and found that Prager Metis referred to itself as the first ever CPA firm to officially open its metaverse headquarters in the metaverse platform Decentraland. Okay, that's weird. So it's like legally not really located anywhere from a tax standpoint. I wonder how that works if it's in the metaverse only. Alameda had a secret exemption on FTX.com. Customer liabilities are not reflected in FTX financial statements. Ray had no confidence in the FTX balance sheet. Just the more they dig into it, the more problematic it becomes. Now, there's speculation that they're going to be blocked on this investigation because if you think about the people that are tied up in this, it's some of the biggest, most corrupt people in the deep state. So will they allow these investigations to continue? I mean, they're going to try to stop them. And if the good guys have anything to say about it, this is all going to come to our attention. So we'll see who wins that. I think we're going to in the big picture, but that's one of the concerns we're talking about right now. Immediately, of course, after this happened, they've got all these messages queued up and ready to go. Not a surprise. And finally, over 160 people killed in Indonesia. It's very sad. 5.6 earthquake hits the island of Java, which, by the way, for you guys may not know this, but a great deal of coffee actually comes from this region. Very delicious coffee, for that matter. But over 160 were killed. 5.6 is a decent-sized quake. It's a good-sized quake, don't get me wrong. And I don't know if it went on for a long time. I was trying to figure that out. If it was maybe, if it shakes for like a minute, it can do an insane amount of damage versus, like a 20-second 5.6. So hard to say, but they had insane damage. A lot of people killed, a lot of people injured. Very, very sad. Stuff's going on in the world, folks. We are living through a transition. So stay strong. Keep learning what you can. Keep being kind to one another. Keep having the courage to stand up and show others how we can fight back by peacefully disobeying. That is what this is all about. We'll keep trying to bring as much info for you guys as I possibly can. Like I said, I'm going to have Chris Baby Trump on here in a little bit. We'll be recording. I'll get that up later tonight or maybe early tomorrow.